Winnie Kirabo,
Yes, Bonnie.
welcome to my podcast.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm okay.
Yeah,
Weekend, passing time, being
yeah.
home, you know. Mhm.
That's amazing. I'm super excited to have you on the podcast. I like how I get connected to people who do different stuff and host them on the podcast. So I'm glad we're able to connect. I'm Bonnie Kibuka. On my podcast, the Ugandan Boy Talk Show, I've had an honor to sit down with some of the most incredible hearts and minds from Uganda, like Miss Uganda Oliver Nakakande, Joram Ozo Job, the Executive Director of Joram Model Management, Pastor Wilson Bugembe, and many, many more. On this podcast, you get to hear raw and real life stories of their journey, what they've been through, and the people that have inspired their journey so that they can make a difference in ours. Listen to the Ugandan Boy Talk Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. Join the journey soon. So, where you catching this podcast from?
I'm in Spain right now.
Okay.
I'm
In
catching you from Spain.
How is Spain? How is Spain right now? How is the weather? How is the environment? Tell us a little bit about Spain.
We are now at that moment where you have a little bit of warmth. We call it the summer of San Juan.
Okay.
Like it's just like a window of 1 week where it gets a little bit summery, but
Mm-hmm.
not really.
Yeah.
So, but it ends this weekend. So,
So then you go to
yeah.
where do you go to?
We go back to the autumn. It's like a week in autumn
Uh huh.
where it gets super warm. Like it gets up. I don't know how you calculate it in your
Okay.
in the US,
Mm-hmm.
but for us we calculate in centigrades.
Okay.
So it goes up to like sometimes 28 centigrades.
Oh
It's
wow.
like super warm and nice.
Yeah.
And but it only lasts like a week,
Oh
and then
really?
it's off. But it happens within autumn. Yeah.
Hmm.
So.
That's
It's
in,
like the last slap of summer before you dive deep into the cold,
yeah. I
basically.
was gonna ask, do you guys have winters and stuff?
All of it.
Yeah. You
We
get
go through.
snow?
There's some parts in the mountains that do get the snow,
Okay.
but where I am, no.
So
I think
it's
because we are next to the sea, it kind of regulates
yeah.
the temperatures.
So it's like in Uganda because a lot of Ugandans have never seen snow, but when you go mountain range, oh, there is snow.
No, it's not really a mountain range. There are villages around that get snowy.
In
There is
Uganda?
no only No, no, no.
Oh,
Here
okay,
in
okay,
Spain. So
okay.
there's some villages in the mountains that get really snowy, like
Mm.
the whole place. And then there are some places like Barcelona
Hmm.
that do not get snow at all.
That's exciting. I love to learn about different places. I've never been to Barcelona. I would love to visit Barcelona. One of my favorite songs, I've forgotten actually, in Barcelona. I think have you listened to that song? I think is
Yeah, yeah. It's a cool song. I like it.
yeah.
I wish I could sing it for you, but
The last recording, I wore my Barcelona jersey because I loved Messi when he played in Barcelona. So I was like, I can't wait again for another recording. But I wanted to represent a little bit of Spain.
come on, you should have. Who cares?
That is true. I'm super excited to have you on here. An amazing work you're doing on with fashion, man. It's when I tapped into your website, Instagram, all the social medias. Like it's amazing to see a Ugandan out there representing the culture and fashion. My first question is gonna be like, how was your journey? Like, did you grow up in Uganda, move to Spain, or were you born in Spain?
I was born in Uganda and
Hmm.
then moved to Spain.
Okay,
Around 8 years ago, I moved to Spain.
nice. Where in Uganda were you
Yeah.
born?
In Kampala, in Buea
Mbuya.
specifically.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you were Wakiso. I was born in Wakiso. I don't know if you know. So the problem is Wakiso is a district, and Entebbe is part of Wakiso district. So most people, when I tell them Wakiso, they're like, "Where in Wakiso? Wakiso is big," but like I'm
Okay, so
from
it's not bad.
Wakiso Town Council. It's just Wakiso. It's called Wakiso. Where the headquarters are, that's where I'm from. So that's why I tell people I grew up there and then I moved to the United States. How was your transition, like leaving Uganda to go to Spain? Like, where did the idea come from? Like, you know what? I'm going to Spain.
And that sounds like Bakogobi again. It was more a thing of wanting to change place. You know, it was I don't know. I think I'm not yet at that point in my headspace where I would love to explain
Right.
all the reasoning behind why I had to move to Spain. But it was a moment in my life that it felt like the right decision
Yeah.
to make at that particular moment. And I'm glad I made
Yeah.
that decision.
No,
You know?
most definitely. Because even me, it's not something I planned. That one time I'm gonna go to the US, move to the US. No, it's just something that happened, and worked out with whatever I wanted to achieve, whatever I was trying to do. So it worked out perfect. So that's amazing. When you were in Uganda, like I'm trying to get the background of your story and your journey. Like, is it that when you're Uganda you tapped into fashion, or when did you tap? When did you then choose to go into fashion?
When I was in Uganda, I was a little bit into fashion.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that I was thinking that I'm going to be a fashion designer, so to speak, because at the beginning I was with Crystal Models. I was modeling,
Okay.
and there was this intrigue of trying to understand the world of fashion. You know, when there is a certain power pulling you into something, and you do not know exactly what it is that you want to do with that thing. So it was the same thing. I just had interest in fashion, but it was not as clear as day that I want to be a fashion designer. I just knew there was something about fashion that was exciting for me.
Right.
So I thought maybe it's because I want to be a model. I don't know. So let's go be models.
Yeah.
So I went, did that, but there was still a yearning that was not fulfilled, you know.
Yeah.
That is why I was telling you it was a really good thing for me to move from Uganda to Spain. Because then is when I tapped in, you know, when you move from places, you rediscover
Yeah.
yourself,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And that is when I rediscovered myself, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go and try fashion because I love fashion, but I don't know if it's modeling or it's fashion. Because even when I came here, I went into modeling and stuff, but still there was a
Yeah.
yearning that wasn't fulfilled.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're only called a fool when you do things multiple times and the same way and expecting different results, you
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah.
it would be foolish of me to keep doing modeling and not fulfill my yarn
Yeah.
for fashion and without trying another direction. So
Right. Sometimes in life, we use different means to get to our final destination. Like we go through different paths to get to where we want to be. Or like you might, and I remind people all the time, you might be doing something totally different. Like at least in some way, modeling is connected to fashion because when models are on the runway, they're presenting different fashions and stuff. But like even at times in life, you might be doing something totally opposite to what you want to do. But that thing in whatever you're doing, it's a means to get to where you want to be. And when that time comes to what you want to do, it will be the perfect time, and then you can just go into that and tap into what you want to do. So I was going to ask you on that too, because every time I get an opportunity to ask somebody who is doing something, I want to know what they did in school. Because when we're in school, you know, we have our dreams that we want to achieve in school. This I want. When you went, did you go to school in Uganda?
I
Okay.
did.
So when you were in school, I would say university. Did you
Yes.
want to do fashion when you're in university? What did you want to do?
No, I didn't want to do fashion. I wanted to be a lawyer.
Oh, nice.
I wanted to argue life out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lawyer winning. That is who I wanted to be.
Yeah.
But then life happens, and mom says, you know what, right now there is no financial capacity
Yeah.
to get you through law school, and there are too many years to pay for. So let's look for a different path. And I went and did microfinance at Tambuko University.
Nice. Nice. That
I
is,
became a money person, a credit officer.
yeah.
I was the one giving money and making sure that Mbabanja mpaka
Eh,
last.
no, that's amazing. I
Take
love
your
that.
holidays as well.
I love the journeys when people talk about, because, and the reason why I tap into those things, I want to connect to the lowest person, to somebody in Uganda with your story. I know we're going to talk about fashion and all that, but I go into these details to another child in Uganda, another Winnie there that looks at you as a fashion designer, but they don't know what you went through. Or they might be in microfinance and they're like, there's no way I'm going to be into fashion. But like when they listen to your story, you did microfinance, we're getting an Obanja, but now you're fulfilling the dream. It might happen to another child too. And that's why some people might look at that as not important, but I love that. I love those details, the small details that people just don't see you on Instagram today and they don't think you have a backstory, you have things, challenges like you went through. So my other question I want to ask you is, doing fashion in another country, like in Spain, and you're Ugandan, how do you incorporate, or do you even incorporate like a Ugandan style in your fashion designing when you're in a different country?
Yeah, in a way I do, because it's almost impossible to not implement myself in stuff that I do. Even when I'm in the kitchen making a meal, there is that Ugandan touch that has to show up one way or another.
Yeah.
And in fashion, it's like an automatic thing. When I'm starting to think about, for example, we're going to release a collection. The first thing I think about is the fabrics, and I want to put a Ugandan touch somewhere, you know? So that's why you look at the work and you see there is an African print coming through, or there is a certain design factor that kind of calls for the Ugandan touch. So, yeah, it happens. It's always in there.
And the reason why I asked you that, because I've seen some of your prints that I've seen on Instagram people are wearing. I'm like, that design looks like, the Ichikoi, or like the thing they put in the gomesi, the colors and stuff. It's like, I remember that. I see, and it takes somebody who knows the behind the scenes of that to understand what it is. So, and that's the reason why I wanted to ask you that specifically, because I've seen it on your work, and I'll put some of the pictures in here you sent me for the people watching to see what I'm talking about. Or even if you want, you can go check her Instagram page and her social media platform to see the style that she does. It's really amazing, and how she incorporates that into her work. And I love that when I see other people who are in the diaspora doing different work and just keeping their culture, or like they express their love for Uganda in different ways. Like when I was starting the podcast, I was looking for a name. I was like, what else can I name my podcast besides being a Ugandan boy who is living in America? Like I might be American and all that, but I'm still Ugandan, and I want to represent Uganda in what I do. But what inspired you to pursue fashion? Like, what's the one thing that was like, this is what I'm going for? Is it a person,
Hey,
or is
I
it?
don't know. I don't know. I
Yeah.
really, sincerely, I have zero idea
Yeah.
what inspired me. I think it's these kind of things that you do not know
Yeah.
that it's developing within you, and it just all of a sudden you're like, I like this. And sometimes as a young person growing, you feel like maybe it's a transitional thing, it's a phase that is passing. I really cannot pinpoint the particular moment
Yeah.
where I was like, I want to do this. I think it was, and it's funny because most women, we have this feeling of fashion. We love fashion. We love to go window shopping or shopping itself and all of these kind of things. And you're thinking it's because I'm a girl. I love clothes. That's what girls do. So you really do not know when it strikes that actually it's something. It's your talent. You can do it. It's weird.
Yeah.
I really I don't know how to put it in words specifically,
Yeah.
but I have no idea when it started.
No,
I
that's
can't
amazing, because, and that's the other thing too. Because when I ask people that question, I mean, most of them they say, "Hey, this and this and this inspired me to do that," but also that's a reminder to person, like, it doesn't have to be something that inspired. It might be something that just comes up, and then you just go for it, because other people, you might have looked at somebody who is a fashion designer and like, one day I want to be like that person. But it's not like that all the time. Like sometimes you might just chikulinya, I would say in the layman's language.
Yeah, exactly. Totally. I wouldn't agree any better than that.
What are some of the challenges you faced as a fashion designer in a different country with like the work you do? What are some of the challenges, and then you give us some of the amazing opportunities or the positives that you've gained being a Ugandan in Spain?
I usually like to look at challenges as opportunities and play around with that. Like for example, the first time I was here, the first few years when I was trying to get into the market, I was making my clothes totally in African print, And I quickly realized from the response of people that that is not what this market wants. And that for me was an opportunity to reinvent myself and create something that suits the market here. And that meant that I had to go and study fashion. Because by then I was using YouTube University. You know, we are graduates. We have degrees here and masters and everything,
Yeah.
from YouTube. And I quickly realized that I needed to study fashion to understand the market that I'm getting into. So for me, that challenge created an opportunity to go to university because I had to study and understand what do the people here want? Who are the designers in this country? Who are those people that are influencing fashion in this country? And the only way you can know this kind of information is if you dive into the school and all of that, and you study the history of this country and the clients. What do they expect when you talk about, for example, a classic look here? It's not a domestic, So I cannot bring Ugandan understanding of fashion into the market here because it's like, whoa, hold your horses. So that also gave me an opportunity to go to university again and study fashion and understand what people want.
Yeah.
So that was a challenge, but that was also an opportunity in itself. And then the other challenge could be fabrics. Sourcing fabrics, it's super challenging because most of the Blacks that are living here, the Africans that are living here, they are mainly Muslims and they are more conservative and stuff like that. So they kind of not wear the chitenje like we do, So it's very, very hard for me to source fabrics and have them readily available whenever I want them. So that is a challenge, but hey, one or another, we make it work. That's what
Exactly.
makes our work stand out,
Exactly. I know I asked you the negatives and the positives, but before we go to the positives, I want to pick up on what you just said. I just want to let it pass. From what you were just saying, I picked up that you went and did fashion. Like it came up and you wanted to do it. You went for it. You went to YouTube school, and that's very important. That note right there, I will break it down. A lot of people have the dream. A lot of people want to do something, but then they'll look at themselves and like, name's a service or maybe. Like, I don't know. And then their dream will die. But here you have a dream, then go to YouTube, teach yourself the basics, the start, like, how I'm going. And then in the future, when you get the opportunity, you get the chance to go to school. So like, sometimes you have to just start. And then ibirabigena kusanga maso. But sometimes people don't think about that. They just don't even start because they're like, you know what? I didn't study that. Sabisoma, I can't do it. That's not the final. So like, that's what I picked up from that, and that's really amazing.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's what you want versus what everyone else wants and what everyone thinks that you should want. And if you're wanting something because that's what mommy wants you to want, or that's what daddy wants you to want, then that is when you come across such kind of difficulties of, ebyo saabisoma munange byaba abaabisoma leka be baba babikola. But when it's you that is initiating that thing, there is a drive already within you that pushes you. So maybe if you feel like there is so much push on ebyo okujjako mami yaŋŋambye nti no nsobola okutunga leka ŋŋende ntunge. Then maybe you should look in the mirror and rediscover yourself. Is it what I want or is it what mommy wants? You know, because when it's what you want, there is no way mommy can stop you.
Right.
You know, you will do everything to convince her that that is the right direction to go. You know, because for example, actually, a funny story is that when I joined modeling, because my mom is a Moroccan, you know, and when I joined modeling, her biggest fear was that I'm going to be in bikinis and doing all of this other type of modeling, you know, be in red pepper all of a sudden. And it's like, hey, Auntie Grace, we saw your daughter in red pepper modeling little clothes, you know. And she was scared of all of this. And she told me, you know, sagala okulaba mu mawulire simanya ku TV ng'oli mu buwale buno obuntuntu nedda. And it was up to me because I really wanted fashion, even if I didn't know exactly where I was going with it. But because I had the drive within me, I told her, okay, when it is time for that kind of fashion, I will talk to my management and tell them that time I don't model swimwear, I don't model bikinis, I model full on outfit. You know, so when they have those gigs, they will not call me. And she was like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, she gave it a try. Because you know, you show the other side of stuff and the parents are like, Hatulabe. Well, let's try it. And if you don't follow in, then we pull you out, you know, kind of thing. So I think it's all the drive within that makes you go to YouTube and makes you ask the other people like, hey, you know?
I like that. I like the story you shared because I think those little bit of stories speaks out to people. Like there might be a child there who wants to do modeling, but she's in the same situation like that. You can negotiate and you can set principles of what you want to do. You know, like this is what I can do, this is what I can't do. But the whole point and what you just said is passion. When you have a passion for something, that passion that you have is going to motivate you to do things. Even in the hard times, it's a passion that you have in your heart that's going to help you go through those tough times. You know, chiva kumutima gwange, I have to persevere and I have to do it. But when you do it because your mom told you and you don't want it, you know, it's going to be hard to go through those tough times. So I'm glad.
Frustrating.
Yeah.
It's frustrating. Have you seen a doctor? They treat you like you're another number on the board. It's because they're not even doing what they want.
Exactly. The teachers.
And they are happy to do their job. Hi, how are you feeling? Oh, I see here you're feeling like this. Did you try this? Is this happening? You know, and the other one is like, what? This? Okay, you go and take a painkiller.
Yeah.
You know, they don't even want to discover what's happening. It's like, Genda. Because mommy was like, oh, you know, you know.
That is true. That's a perfect example. Yeah, that's why you find people in their careers now, they don't offer you good service because they were forced into that. Or even not even forced into that. Some people, even when you're adults, you do a job because you don't really love your job, but like you have different ideas why you're doing it. And that's why we have, as customers, we experience bad services because of people who are doing something they didn't really love. How do you keep up with the Uganda fashion? Like, how do you stay updated with the Ugandan fashion designs when you are in Spain? Like, do you even collaborate with some Ugandan fashion designers there?
I haven't yet collaborated with any fashion designers in Uganda. And also, it comes in play that because of the kind of market that I'm serving right now, it's a little bit difficult for me to, for example, design a typical African design and they understand it. For instance, when you look at the designs that we make, even on our website, some of the words we write there, we include something like mixing of cultures, you know, and that is so that we can attend to the clientele that we have. Because if I were to follow in with the Ugandan fashion trends and try to introduce them here. Let's say, for example, we have around 40-something Ugandans living in Spain, the whole of Spain, you know. At that point, I think I'll be marketing to those Ugandans that are living in Spain. And the Spanish people that are here that have a certain necessity and a certain need, I'll not be catering for it. So I guess to answer your question, no, I do not really follow the Ugandan fashion scene like that. However, I try to see what is happening there and see, like, for example, stuff that are as minimal as the colors of the season and are people liking to wear baggy clothes? So what is going on there? That I can kind of implement it a little bit here and there in my work, but I cannot carry like the entire idea and put it here, because like I told you at the beginning, the people here clearly showed me, and the good thing here is that the people are rather vocal. So they told me, for instance, like, oh, your prints are too loud, we cannot, I don't know where to wear them to.
Right.
I don't know if I'm ready to have all that attention if I go somewhere. And because of that, I had to, go to school and study and understand what they want and all of that. All of that was to kind of, quote unquote, unlearn what I knew from fashion in Uganda and relearn fashion in a European perspective. If you put a bold color, don't make it too loud. And if it's too loud, try to make a design of it that is rather simple so that I do not stand out too much. It's a whole...
Yeah, we talked about earlier about the Ugandan, how you incorporate some little bit of Ugandan in your styles, like what you do. It might not be completely a Ugandan design, but like something you design to come up with your own fashion design. Like when you're designing those, are you designing those clothes best to the people living in Spain because that's where your market is at?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, yeah. I design specifically for a European woman.
Okay.
At least for now. When who knows what the future brings?
Yeah.
Maybe there is an investor that wants to invest in me to produce stuff that is specifically for the Ugandan market. I'm good. Let's do it. Yeah.
The reason why I also asked you about
the European market.
the reason why I asked you about the Ugandan market, I saw you. Did you win an award with Abrams Asfas?
Yes.
Okay, that's where I was leading to. Like,
it was actually under the category of emerging fashion designer, Africa in the diaspora.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So it was for Africa as a whole. It wasn't Ugandan designer. It was more of African designers in the diaspora.
Okay, let's talk about that, because now when I'm talking to award winners, how was your?
Congrats, by the way.
Thank you. Let's talk about like how through your nomination and through winning the award, like how did you feel the first time you got nominated? You knew that you got nominated in the Asfas, and how did that feel?
Incredible. Incredible, because as someone that loves fashion and living in Uganda, that was the biggest award, if not still the biggest award, you know.
Yep.
You check on the continent, it's like the biggest red carpet award ceremony, and it's all of these kind of things that you see and you think that it may be to be abali, you know, like how we were saying about when you want something and you're like, I don't, maybe it's for those people, but not for me. Let those people win their things. For us, we shall be here doing our things in Pola.
Yeah.
And then you receive an email saying you've been nominated, and it's like, Wanji, did they see my work?
Yeah.
Is it worth it? Really? Oh my goodness, and it's like a reassurance that you're on the right journey. So,
no, that's definitely amazing. And when I saw that, I was like, I need to every time I'm planning to host somebody and I see that you won an award, I want to put myself in their shoes. Like, I want to know the feeling, because I know how it felt when I got nominated and winning an award, you see like, yeah, my work is up there. And at the time when I got nominated, I Babaluku told me not to say these words again about my podcast. But like when you say are you into Biaba, you like I didn't see myself as like there's a lot of other people out there doing an amazing work and stuff. But sometimes it, I put myself down than where actually people see it. I go, no, Bunny, you need to take credit for what you've done, and that has been part of my biggest challenge. Kwanganze, I was like, I mean, I know where I want to be. I know how I want to push myself and improve, but people are more like, enjoy and give yourself credit for what you've done so far. But I was also in that moment like, I'm not worthy to be nominated. I'm not worthy to do this. But once you soak it in, you feel it. You be like, yeah, I'm doing amazing. I'm doing my best. You're doing everything. So every time I get to talk to that, I want to hear what other people felt winning awards and being nominated. So that's amazing. Thanks for sharing that. I was going to ask you about something you can tell a young girl in Uganda to look out for, a young girl who wants to be in fashion design. What's the one thing you've learned in your life, like you can tell the person who has that dream?
That your dream is valid, and if you feel it at your core, don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Yeah.
You know, and to be something, it doesn't matter. Even if you don't want to be a fashion designer, even if you want to be whatever you want to be, just remember that there is only you, one you. There is not another you somewhere else. And much as you see that there are other people that are doing what you're doing, the fact that you are uniquely you, there is a chance and a very good 99% possibility that what you're bringing is something new, because you've had everyone else, you've seen everyone else, and you still feel like there is something you can bring to the table.
Yeah.
And that makes a whole lot of difference. Because when I was starting fashion, I was looking at all the big fashion designers, and I was like, dang, I don't think I can compete with that. But you have to remember that you're not supposed to compete with those. You're not supposed to compete with yourself.
Exactly.
And that is why when, for example, the nomination and you feel like, oh my God, is it happening? Is it me? Did they see my work? Because there are other people that are good. Yes, they are good. But because you're competing with yourself, and that means you're reinventing yourself every time, there is always something new. So don't underestimate what you have within you, because trust me, there is something big. If you feel it, explore it.
Yeah. Those are molded. Akusigana and Akadamu. So just lift yourself up, just explore it and take every opportunity that you can get. What is that one thing that's on your Instagram that has 20 Africans creatives to know? Like, I was going to ask you about that.
So that is a magazine that is based in Nigeria, but with their headquarters in France.
Okay.
And it was a surprise. You know, it's amazing though. Just a little Rugambo now, yeah.
Let's get it. That's why we have podcasts. We are around Ugambo. To wait.
You know, like there are moments that happen to me, and it's just so surreal. Like, besides the part of being nominated and winning the awards and everything, there is this thing of when you're feeling kind of down and stuff is not working out and you're struggling with different things in your headspace, and just all of a sudden there is this thing that is happening and they put you up there, and it's just like amazing how, as a Christian, I say how God just molds things and just reassures you every time you're going down, and it's like, hey, Winnie, have you seen this there is this big magazine, award-winning magazine, that is writing about you, saying you're among the top 20 young Africans to get known. And I'm like, what? You know? And it's that moment when you're feeling down and you're like, you know, it could have been much easier by now. And it's not getting any easier. And this comes out. and it was, for me, it was a pleasant surprise because
Yeah.
it caught me at the moment of, "Oof, I need another Winnie,
Yeah.
to to take on the hard part, and maybe I'll come back when it's easier in a way." So it that's what that was really.
I'm so proud to even see you and talking to you, people who don't know you, about what it is. People who are listening or watching, like when you get to know her, like talking to her, she's humble. Like even the stuff like she's talking about here, like that's when I look up to people like you, I want to be that humble. And most of my mind, like no matter what you've won, no matter where you are in life, you're still down to earth because of who you are. And that's what I want to be. That's why I ask God to be. Like no matter where you get in life, what you have achieved, what you've done, you still stay humble. But
Amen.
yeah, I would it down and Jenny. No, it's
Over David Julie.
what I would do is, yeah. But you mentioned something that I wanted to add on a little bit. It's when you're feeling down, you need another Winnie to lift you up. People see us put our work. People see me post podcasts consistently every weekend without missing. Say, no guy Akuba. But throughout the week, there's a part that people don't see, and I want to be open as much as possible. It's like sometimes it gets hard. Sometimes you ask yourself questions like, "Am I doing enough? Is this good enough? Is this what?" And then sometimes the negativity hits you, which people won't see. People won't see that. People won't see that I've struggled with. Oh man, I didn't like. I'm not doing good enough. This is not good. You trying like you're giving up, but then you pick yourself back up. People don't see that. They just see the final product. But I like when you share that. Like even when people go to your Instagram, "Banange Winnie, 20 Africans, she's in that." Oh, what? Behind that, there's a lot of other things that are happening that you just mentioned there, and it just touched my heart. And that's why I want people to listen to that. Like it's not all the glitter you see on. Yeah, that's the proverb. All glitter is not gold. Like yes, we've thank God and we've been blessed to achieve this, provide this. But sometimes behind those scenes, there's a lot of fight and effort and lifting up that has to
And
go on.
and it's not only sometimes, it's a lot of times, by the way. It's a lot of times, especially when it comes to creative work. It's a lot of times, because the things we put out are the good things, but the things that actually happen before that good thing, that is work. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of doubt. That is a lot of reassuring yourself that you are actually capable. It's too much that you have to rethink and re-up yourself every time.
Yeah.
Just last weekend or 2 weekends ago, um, we received an email from one of the people that we're working with on some project, and it's getting delayed, and it's dragging on longer than it was supposed to, and now it has been pushed into the next year, and it's these kind of things that they make you feel like, am I not doing enough? What is happening? And then just on Thursday or Wednesday, I receive an audio recording from a 9-year-old girl that is from one of the local schools here in Spain, and sending me a message and saying, "I did a presentation at school about you. I want to be as good of a designer like you are." And that alone was like, you know what, we got this. We got this, it's like, it's amazing. Just keep on going, because sometimes the things that we do that seem so small to the other people, like you said, the people see the good, but sometimes it's that good that actually uplifts another person. It doesn't matter how you're feeling in this moment, but this kind of messages. So Banange, you keep sending those good messages. If our work affects you in a positive way, just say, "Hey, ako kankole day."
Eh,
There is power in those words.
that
So
is true. That is true. And that's why I
mm,
love to reshare all the good comments people leave on the podcast. That's why I love feedbacks. Yes, I'll make a statement that says I feed off your feedbacks. It fuels me. But I'll be lying to say that if you don't give me feedback, I will stop. No, that's not, like it will fuel me, but
That's not what we mean.
yeah. So yeah, we'll have the feedback, but it's not. If you don't, it doesn't mean that if you don't send the feedback, we'll stop. But it adds to the energy that we already have. It makes our work fight easier to know that we have people out there cheering for us. We're coming almost close to the end of this recording, but I have a few questions that I want to ask you. One of the questions is, what's a life lesson you've learned in life to this point?
Life lesson. Nabubuuza ebintu ebizibu kati life lesson ye.
I think maybe the whole topic, you know, we're talking about the life lesson. No, I just
Still
want.
learning,
Yeah.
banange. We are still learning. Biki yobuuza
Muna yobuuza ebintu
Life
ebizibu.
lesson. We are still learning. Banange tuli mu ssomero. Life is a lesson of its own. So it's very difficult to say what exactly is the life lesson. Apart from understanding that don't be rigid about what you know, be flexible to learn new things and unlearn what doesn't serve you anymore. I think that is what I've learned so far. Who knows what I'll say tomorrow, but so far that is what I've learned. That
No, that's a good one.
Unlearn what is not serving and pick up better habits. Yeah.
That's a good one. And actually, when I ask those questions, I like to ask them to other people because it makes me think and reflect in my life.
For you, what have you learned? What is your life lesson?
ojja kuhostinga ku podcast eyo mbuuze nokaleka akubulire. Okay. My life lesson. That's actually hard than I thought. when it takes turn. I think my life lesson has been stay humble. Like no matter what. When you stay humble, no matter somebody is older than you or younger than you, they can add something to your life. You just give a story of the 9-year-old girl who shared something with you, like they add to your life. She's 9 years old, you're way older than her. My personal story, I had a 10-year-old kid. When I came to America, I was going to school and I didn't have, my sponsor lost his job right after I got to America and I was getting kicked out of school. And this one kid was 10 years old. He asked me to go to his house. He asked his parents, hey, can Bunny come to our house? So I went to their house and I was telling them about Africa, about Uganda, the animals, because they've seen all those animal kingdom, animal, whatever, Lion King. And they were asking about, they know there's a lot of lions in Africa. So the kid wanted to just speak to somebody who was lived in Africa to get the feeling of Lion King. So I go to their house, I tell them about the lions. Nange kenyini ezisinga nziraba mu zoo nakugamba but like bamubeera eno gwabeera expert. So I tell this kid that story and I don't know where this kid got that from, but he asked his parents, does Bunny need anything? But his parents knew I was struggling with school. I didn't have really a sponsor. And this kid brought a jug full of like dollars, like $1, $2 coins. And then he brought it to my school and gave it to the registrar and told the registrar, like, hey, can you put this money to Bunny's school? This kid was 10 years old, you know, like, so that's the story I had to say to back up my life lesson is like, when you stay humble, it doesn't matter who, like that kid, 10 years old, just sitting down with him, talking to him about Lion King, like just, because I would have said, you're like, I don't have time for that little kid, you know, but you don't know what they're going to add on to your life in the future, or you don't see the picture. So that's been a life lesson for me. And like you said, like today I might say that and tomorrow might be different, but I wanted to put that out for somebody to just get the behind the story of that. Just stay humble. Never ofuna award, never ofuna sente, just stay humble. You can always add on to your life. Anyway, let me ask you another question. What gets you excited about life? That's why I have those 3 last questions. And they're meant for that. So enjoy them.
And totally enjoying and was it just thinking
Yeah.
one-on-one. Okay, enjoy it. What makes me excited about light? I would say, oh wow. Hmm. Hey, Bonnie Nessa.
I'm gonna enjoy listening to this one after.
Ask the third question, then I will revisit the
Okay.
second.
The third question is the final question, but to you, it's not the final question. It's a signature question on the podcast. Who would you like to see on this podcast next as a guest? And you're gonna help me connect me to that person.
I know you're not making it easier.
Actually, I
We
might.
are running so that we find the easier part, and then I will later do. What? Um. Whew.
Some people have said, okay, I'll give you some about Chibagami, about like, so some people they have said from what gets them excited about life, from food, from hanging out with people, or like when you make a design that you've had in your head and then you see it out on somebody wearing it, like when you walk on the streets and see somebody wearing your design, your style, or when you see it on the magazine somewhere, like that could get you excited about life. But hey, your answer, youngest, I gotta pay you.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I can build up on that, but that's true. All of those questions, all of those are true. But number one, I'm not really a foodie,
Okay.
so yeah, that doesn't really excite me about life. I mean, food, we don't have the best relationship. We
Yeah.
have it, but yeah, no, really. Um, I don't know. I think what excites me, probably I would say when I think about the future, the promise that Wyne Kirabo has, it kind of excites me, like when I'm feeling rather down and I imagine every single step that I have been taking till now, it excites me to know how far we are going to reach. And yeah, I think that is a big drive for me. I
Yeah.
like to see, of course, the creations that I make and from the sketch up to the final product. All that is beautiful, but I think for me it's the thought of where I'm trying to drive the whole brand that excites me.
That's good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now you go back to the other question I asked you. Who would you like to
So
see
why
on
do
the?
you do another question? I told which one you answered all the
Why gotta
questions.
kumbuza? You already say that, Mina.
Ooh, which other person can you bring
It
on?
could be anybody, actually. Like that's the other thing I say on the podcast. Once anybody that's willing to sit down with me to have a conversation, I don't pick, or I'm not picky. The reason why I made this podcast is to be an opportunity for anybody that's willing to sit down with me to impact another person's life. That's how I look at it. So if there's anybody you know that would love to talk, but also if you don't have anybody on your mind right now, Tisobolo Kami singer. Now, yeah, you still have to send me somebody. You know, like on WhatsApp or Instagram. Hey, I found one.
Oh, wow. The issue with me is that I'm super disconnected from social media,
Yeah, I
like
know, I know that.
too
Buzanze.
much probably.
No,
I
you.
try to
I
stay
need.
away from social media
I'm
because
trying.
most of the times when you're creating, you do not want to be influenced a lot,
Yeah.
you know, because I don't like to design following what is trending and bitchy. So when I'm in my creative headspace, I don't like to be on social media because my social media, my personal one is full of a lot of fashion bloggers and vloggers and fashion brands and I look at so much of their work
Yeah.
and I don't want it to come through when I design my own stuff. So when I'm going into creative space, I tend to disconnect
So
from all
don't.
of that. I deleted my Instagram, my Facebook. I just deleted the applications, and when I'm done creating my own stuff, then I can
That's a good.
re-download
That's
them
a
and
good
go
idea,
back.
actually. Nange, I think this is the second last episode I'm recording for this year, and then I'm gonna cut it off till take a break till February. I mean, the good thing I pre-record these and then I just schedule them every weekend. So I think I'll have enough to take me through maybe half of December. But I won't be back with the new episode till February. Abantu bange tebakimanyi so kano njakajjamu nga editing. But no, but it's always good to have that time to yourself. Give yourself that time. So no, it's fine until I understand. One thing I mentioned, I forgot to mention, we talked about this like months ago. So your design, fashion design is called Wyne Kirabo. And are you Winnie or like Winnie? So Winnie as in Wine. Is that, no, that's wine. IE, yeah.
No,
IE.
WINNIE.
Yeah.
That is my name, Winnie.
And then the brand is
The brand is Wine.
nice. That's amazing. Anyway, Wine, I'm super excited to have had a conversation with you about fashion design, about what you do. It's amazing to just get to know you as a person and how humble you are, how open you are to just have a talk. For my podcast, for my listeners, and hopefully somebody is getting inspired out there who looks up to you, wants to do what you're doing. But once again, all the listeners, if you want to know more, see more of what she does, her social media, I'll put all that information in the description below, and then you can check her website out and get inspired. If you have a question, I'm sure she will answer it. She's very humble. Ngomukute bulungi.
By the way, that is so true.
Yeah.
But Jane Gume, there is a chance that I will not answer you.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Anyway,
We like humble people over here.
That's true. That's true. Same here. Any final words you want to say to my people, my listeners?
I'll be glad to see you around my vicinities of social media and everywhere. So don't be a stranger over there. You come and visit us and say hello. I'm coming from the Ugandan Boys podcast, and whatever you say, we'll be happy to have you there. And just be you, be yourself, enjoy your life, and the people that understand you when you're yourself will come and find you, and you'll find each other, and you will live a happy life.
Amen. Webale nnyo, webale kujja. Hey there, this is Bonnie Kibuka, the host of the Ugandan Boy Talk Show. Thanks for watching and listening to my podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you share it with a friend and recommend somebody to this podcast. Don't forget to leave a feedback on this podcast because that's how we grow. And also don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment. Join us on our social media platforms on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. So we would love to hear from you. Thank you very much and be blessed.